Hey Karen, where are we?
We're on the Katy Trail.
Welcome to a Katy Trail edition of Beyond the Driveway. Before we get into the details of the ride, take a second to hit that subscribe button. I have several more rides to post in the coming weeks and months. You'll certainly want to see them when I do. As with all my videos, I have links to lodging, restaurants, and points of interest in the description below. Be sure to check those out when you're planning your ride on the Katy Trail. Okay, our annual fall trip back to California needed to be a little more direct than usual, but that didn't mean we still couldn't have a little fun along the way. As it turns out, our route would intersect with the Katy Trail in Rocheport, Missouri. At 237.7 miles in length, the Katy Trail is the longest rail-to-trail route in the U.S. It travels from Mansion, Missouri at its eastern end to Clinton, Missouri at its western. Most riders take 6 to 7 days to complete the route. With only 2 days available to ride, I Googled most scenic section of the Katy Trail. That led us to the stretch that passes through Rocheport, Missouri, just 2 miles off our riding route. Rocheport is a super small town with a population of just 239 residents, but it is well worth the visit. We settled in at the Schoolhouse Bed and Breakfast. You'll hear more about that from the owners Chakandra and Andy a little later in the video. They have a fabulous B&B and they're excited to tell you all about it. There is a link to the B&B in the description below and a bookmark that will take you straight to the interview in this video. By the way, I keep having to swat a fly that's flying in my eye right now and it's driving me crazy. Our first evening in town, we made a short walk to the Rocheport General Store. There we took in the local music and a cold beer. Then it was off to the A-Frame WineGarden for a taste of the local vintage. It's a great spot for a light dinner and to take in the views of the river and watch the sunset. The Rocheport Trailhead lies about 86 miles from its western end in Clinton, Missouri, and 150 miles from its eastern in Mansions, Missouri. We started our ride heading west. The route was pretty well shaded. This section of the trail hugs the bluffs on one side and the Missouri River on the other. The trail is flat and very well maintained. The surface is crushed stone. While it is devoid of mud and puddles, we did kick up a fair amount of dust. If you're riding with a group, you may want to ride side by side or put some space between everybody. But if you want to ride in a tight group, I recommend you take the lead and hold on to it. We crossed lots of bridges and quiet wooded places. It was midweek and mid-September, and we weren't encountering too many riders or other trail users. But we did meet up with Richard and Mary from Southern California. How can it be that we are in the middle of Missouri and we run into another tandem riding couple on the same bike as ours who live only 30 miles from us in Southern California? Small world, I would say. Okay, here's a couple fellow tandem bike riders. What are your names, folks?
Richard.
Mary.
We come from Orange County.
Oh, Orange County,
Yeah.
California.
Sierra Madre.
It's Sierra Madre, right by Pasadena.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Long Beach, California.
yeah, you guys live in a great area. So
Yeah.
you doing the whole Katy Trail?
Yeah,
Yes.
and Katy, and we're gonna go to the Washington D.C. We're gonna Pittsburgh to the Washington D.C. and we're gonna jumping into the
Erie.
Erie,
Oh, wow, very
Ohio.
good.
And then we're gonna go South Dakota.
Oh, very cool. Well, I'm going to sign this off, say a pleasure meeting you guys.
Very nice meeting you. See
Nice
now
to
the
meet
Oak Tree,
you.
maybe.
At around the 170-mile marker, there is a must-see site along the trail, a nearly 400-year-old Burr Oak Tree sitting about 1/10 of a mile off the trail. You'll come to an asphalt road aptly named Burr Oak Road. If you look southwest along the road, you'll see the tree. It's very impressive. Maybe show it a little appreciation for its grandeur while you're there. Let's hear what Karen thinks of the Katy Trail. Okay, here we are on the Katy Trail. We're doing a 2-day preview of it, maybe for a longer ride later. And what Karen informed me is she does not like to be interviewed. So this time she's going to be doing the questioning. So from this point forward,
Jim.
okay, I'll lead into it and you can pick up wherever you want. So
Okay.
this is a 238-mile bike trail, of which we're only doing 27 miles today. What's your thoughts on it so far?
It's the best ride ever. I'll say that. It's shady. It's dusty, but it is everywhere you look, these beautiful bluffs. And then the river, the Missouri River, and the trail and the greenery. It's so enjoyable, really. It's a lovely trail.
So I showed you a bunch of videos of people riding the Katy Trail
I
before.
was doing the interview.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, this is my only question. So I showed you a bunch of videos of people doing the Katy Trail before. Would you say it's better than you expected, or?
Yeah, we did watch that.
Yeah.
It is better.
It is better. Okay, so I'm ready for your questions now.
Jim, I don't have any.
Okay, so her question is, I can tell you what her question is. I'm a Karnak, the magician. I can read her brain. Is this interview over?
I'll tell you my favorite part.
What?
My favorite part was riding through a little bit of sunshine, and there were hundreds of dragonflies flying all around us. It was beautiful.
Okay.
I did like that. Plus, this is where the Lewis and Clark expedition happened, right?
Right, yeah, Lewis and Clark.
They camped all along the river, and they found pictographs on the bluffs.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
that's historic.
All right, let's finish up our ride and go get a cold drink.
Sounds good.
Back to Rocheport for lunch at the Meriwether Cafe and Bike Shop. This is no ordinary trailside cafe. They have an extensive breakfast, lunch, and dinner menu, and the food is really good. Make sure to try the honey lavender lemonade. It's killer refreshing after a long ride. Well rested after the day's ride, we walked down for dinner at the Rocheport Winery in the Mount Nebo Inn. Somehow, though, I neglected to take any video of the place. Must have been too busy drinking and eating. For day 2's ride, we headed east. Within a quarter of a mile, we came to the Rocheport Tunnel, a 240-foot long railroad tunnel. Here we go, in one end and out the other. The second day's ride was very much the same as the first, except we were no longer hugging the banks of the Missouri River. But there still was plenty of great scenery to enjoy. We traveled through thick wooded areas, open fields, and creek crossings. After another quick stop at the Meriwether Cafe for a honey lavender lemonade, we headed back to the Schoolhouse B&B, where we met up with the owners to hear about the history and all that the B&B has to offer trail riders and other guests.
So I'm Andy Hickman. This is my wife, Chandrika. We own the Schoolhouse Bed and Breakfast in Rocheport, Missouri. We cater to a lot of cyclists. We cater to a lot of people on a romantic getaway. Facility is on a property that was built in 1914 as the public school. It was the school until 1972. It became a bed and breakfast in 1988. We provide a full service experience with a full 3-course breakfast.
Yeah, and we have, in general, when you think about the town and the community, we are the largest bed and breakfast in the area. We're actually only one of 2 that do the full service. And we have 3 properties. This main house that you're in and that we're talking about can accommodate up to 24 people. If all the rooms are filled. We have 11 luxury suites, 3 with jetted tubs for those wary cyclists who really want a little something extra. And then we have a couple of other units, one that is more like a crash pad with some bunk beds for cyclists who just want to hop off the trail, get a good night's rest. We have continental breakfast there for folks so they can kind of make their breakfast for themselves, and then across the way we have 2 other larger units that between the 2, on the lower floor you could have about 12 people, and on the top floor you could have about 6. And so that's more for families, because here at the schoolhouse often people are wanting to get away from the hustle and bustle, also that care of their loved ones, children, are looking for that relaxation. So we kind of have the 3 different types of properties for the various needs that people have when they come to the community.
Yeah.
And you're open all year round, full season?
We're open year round. We close at Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we do some special events in the winter.
Yep.
But yeah, as far as for trail traffic, anytime it's nice enough to ride, we're available.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Yes.
Karen and I had a lovely stay here. We really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And we'll be back another time.
Oh,
Yeah,
great.
was
We're
really
so
glad
glad
to
you
have you.
came. Yes, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Well, that's it from the Katy Trail in Rocheport, Missouri. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, please hit that subscribe button. If you're already a subscriber, thanks for continuing to watch my channel. We'll see you on the road or the bike trail.